Hey everybody, it's Christine. I'm going to do my weekly wrap up. And I have had a couple of requests for this, so I'm going to get silly for a few minutes. And the first request was if I could do the silly southern accent that I did for Mr. Burke is Berserk that I talked about. And it's actually written in southern vernacular. I guess that would be the proper word for it. But I don't mean any disrespect. This is just for fun for my son to get him to giggle. But they're doing a lawnmower race in this book. And this is the accent I did. I reckon I'm gonna give you a whipping you'll never forget. So that's how I talked for the one character in this book. Yeah, so forgive me for being silly. And again, no disrespect at all. So on to the wrap up. I read Dead as a Doornail, book 5 by Charlaine Harris. It's the Sookie Stackhouse series. The only thing I can tell you about this is that somebody is shooting a couple people in town, and Sookie has to find out who did it and why. Then I went on to read The Scorched Charles by James Dashner. I finished this one fairly quickly. I sped through it. A little bit dry. I think I gave it a 4 though, because the ending was just, I need the next book now. Or the last book, which is The Death Cure. I want to see what's going on with this. Dystopian, about kids being left in this giant glade, and then there's a maze on the outskirts of it, and they have to try and get out of it, and this one's just the next installment, so I can't really tell you much about it. Was a little dry. I'm really starting to not like Teresa, the female in this book, but we'll see. And so a little bit on the continuations. Currently reading. My son and I are currently reading Stay Out of the Basement, Goosebumps, R.L. Stine. This one is about a brother and sister whose father is a scientist, a botanist. He works with plants. And their mother has to leave to go and visit their aunt, her sister, who's had major surgery. It doesn't say what surgery, it just that she has to leave town and go be with her. And their father has been laid off from his job, but he's always working in the basement. And he stays down in the basement the majority of the day. He doesn't talk to the kids, he doesn't interact with the kids. And yeah, so that's pretty much what that one's about. I forgot I had this one out from the library, and it's the Sookie Stackhouse, like, in between books, like, I think this is book, let's see, like, Fairy Dust has to come after book 4. Dracula Night comes before book 5, so pretty much the same. The next one is after the one I'm reading, which is this one, and I'll talk about that in a minute. The other two, no, sorry, I'm getting that confused. Okay, Fairy Dust comes after Dead to the World, which I think is book 2. Dracula Night comes after or before Dead as a Doornail, which is book 4. Did I just 4 or 5? After Dead as a Doornail comes One Word Answer, which is the story in here. Lucky comes after this one, and then Gift Wrap comes after one other one. So it's like in between stories. And I read the first 3, and And by the way, it's A Touch of Dead by Charlaine Harris. And I'm really glad I read them now, the first 3 now, because it kind of helps understand a little bit of what this one's going about. So yeah, I'm not going to get into anything because they are very specific. But they're pretty good so far. They do have little illustrations right before each short story. I think that's the word I was looking for, short story. And it kind of pertains to the stories, but it doesn't give anything away. And I really like, I don't think you can see it there a little bit. It's textured with glitter. I don't know, mindless things. So I'm also reading Definitely Dead, book 6 in the Stucky Stack House. This one is her cousin Hadley dies and leaves Sookie everything, and she has to go and deal with that. There's other storylines, but that's pretty much what I can tell you because the other storylines have to deal with spoilers. So, on to what I'm hoping to read. And I just got this downloaded this morning. And it's Bogus to Bubbly, An Insider's Guide to the World of Uglies by Scott Westerfeld. I think it's just a companion. I don't know how long it is. Yeah, I don't think it's too long. Let's see. Well, it's fairly long. It goes through like the history of Tally's world, the hoverboard, life phases of In the Pretty Time, clicks, the science, gadgets, and inventions. So it's kind of like a history of their world. So I'm also hoping after that I will probably, I didn't even grab it, grab the next book because, you know, I need to read those. They're interesting. And the way things are going lately with my life, I need something light and interesting. But I'm really hoping to get to this one this week, and that's Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. And it's the first book one in the Infernal Devices. I've spoken about it before, and I really need to read it. But yeah, so if you have, the way I've been told to read the Mortal Instruments and the Infernal Devices is you read the first 3 books of the Mortal Instruments, and then you read the 3 books in the Infernal Devices, and then you read the other 3 books in the Mortal Instruments series. So that's what I'm doing, and I really need to get to this. So I hope everybody's having a wonderful week. Thank you for letting me do my silly voice for you. I like doing the silly voices for him. It makes him laugh and gets him engaged and interacting with the story. So that's all I have for you this week. Let me know what you're reading. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.